Today I'll be reacting to 7 things that are surprisingly cheap in the USA. My friends, this should be an interesting one, but before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much. It's the best way to show support. If you can subscribe, well, in that case, you already know, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Now, link for the original video in my description. Diane is an amazing channel. Give her some love. That said, well, let's play it.
Are you going to do the video, Chewy? Yes, I'm going to do the whole video. Wow.
What?
You're over it already? Yes, I'm over it already. So, today we are going to look at a couple of things that are actually more expensive in Europe than they are in the USA. Now, this might come as a surprise to you because generally speaking, most of us know that the cost of living in the USA is higher than in Europe. And when
Yeah, comparing with my country, much higher. But I wonder if, for example, comparing with places like Italy that are actually, for my standards, Italy is expensive. I wonder if America is even more expensive than that.
I say that, it's important to note that I am talking about overall in general. So there are poor areas, wealthy areas of Europe and the USA, and the disparity between the cost of living in those is massive. And again, on a personal level, the parts of the USA that I have seen are mostly cities. However, when I was making up the numbers of this list, I took the entire Europe and USA into account. So when we're talking averages, that's what I'm bringing in. Gosh, that was a lot of technical stuff getting it out of the way, but it's important, you know. Careful now, don't overextend your brain head. I mean, it's common sense that the cost of living in Ireland or Finland is going to be more expensive than it is in the Ukraine or in Moldova, for example. But it's just worth putting it out there. We're bringing in the wealthiest and the poorest and finding an average. So enough blah, blah, blahing. Let's get on with the list. The first thing should not come as a shock to you. You've probably heard about it.
Guns. Because you have to buy it in the black market here in Europe. Okay, that was a bad joke. I'm sorry.
It's the cost of gasoline. We call it...
Oh, this is true, my friends. Oh yeah, gas is quite cheaper in America. I mean, this is also quite logic, right? You guys have oil everywhere, but yeah.
Petrol. The price of petrol/gasoline is extortionate in Europe right now, and it's crazy. In part thanks to all the awful things going on in Europe right now. I know in the USA you guys measure stuff in gallons, so let me do that and also give you the numbers in dollars. So in the USA, a gallon will cost you about $3 to $4, whereas in Europe, a gallon could cost you $6 to $8. I've actually heard it being more expensive.
Oh my god, the difference is crazy. And from what I understand, the price of gasoline in America is actually quite high comparing, for example, with 2 or 3 years ago. Am I crazy on this, my friends? Oh, but we are suffering. Okay.
But again, we're talking averages. It is the #1 thing my homies complain about.
Why do you guys need Tesla? The gasoline is so cheap. We need Tesla, not you, my friends.
Non-driver, I get to avoid this amount of money, although it does affect the cost of like Ubers and Lyfts and Bolts. But filling up your car in Europe is a massive expense. Is it any wonder some of us have chosen just to do the taxi thing? The next thing...
No, but that's also crazy expensive.
...is iPhones and all Apple technology. It is way cheaper in the USA than it is in Europe. The latest iPhone is the iPhone 15 Pro, I believe. And in the USA, that could set you back $999 at just a basic cost, like if you're not buying it with a phone plan or anything. The same phone in Europe starts from $1,347. However, and we do love a however, phone plans in Europe are way cheaper than in the USA. Okay,
small win. Let's go.
Right now, I am paying €35 a month. I think the dollar and the euro are about the same right now. Yeah, $35 is €32, so roughly the same. And I would say it's certainly not the cheapest phone plan. Like my mom is on a phone plan that's only €8 a month. And she gets, I think, 2 gigs of data, which she doesn't use a whole lot of data. I need a lot of data. But she gets all her calls for free. And as I understand it, that's an unfathomably cheap amount compared to what you guys pay in the USA. Let me know below in comments what your phone bill is every month.
My friends, the thing with iPhone is in America is the most popular phone, right? Everyone, not everyone, but a lot of you guys watching probably have an iPhone, I'm assuming. This is getting more popular here, but for example, I have a Chinese phone with Android. I mean, it's quite cheap and does the work for me, to be honest. You know, it's just this is a Xiaomi, is a Chinese brand. I don't know, I never... A lot of people buy Apple here. I know in America it's different, my friends, don't get me wrong, but I know a lot of people buy Apple, sometimes because of the status that is a very... At least here, a lot of people look at a premium brand. But, I'm not trying to be humble, to be honest, but I never cared that much about that. This does the job for me. Android is quite cheap. You can buy this for, I don't know, $200, maybe even less. I'm not sure, but does the work. I do all the calls and I go to, you know, to YouTube to like the comments you guys leave me. By the way, leave me a like.
I'm interested to
or a comment.
Then,
let's run this back.
As I understand it, that's an unfathomably cheap amount compared to what you guys pay in the USA. Let me know below in comments what your phone bill is every month. I'm interested to hear. The next thing, and this comes with a little bit of a caveat because it definitely does vary a lot in Europe, so I'm going to put it with an asterisk, it's alcohol. And this is definitely where my subjective experience comes into things. So on this one, I'm talking about Northern Western Europe versus the parts of the USA that I have seen.
This surprises me because I'm almost 100% sure that alcohol is quite more expensive in America than it is in my country.
Of beer in the USA in a supermarket.
But again, my country in Europe is not a top tier country in terms of prices, you know.
It can be anything from $1 to $3 for a domestic beer. Craft beers obviously run up higher. In Europe, the disparity is much wider and it can go from 75 cents to $4.50. Countries such as Norway, Switzerland, and Ireland have much higher prices for the cost of alcohol because we have huge taxes on the consumption of alcohol. It might be a good thing they put that on in Ireland, but I don't think it stopped the drinking culture a hell of a lot. But alcohol in Ireland is expensive. But comparatively, the cost of alcohol in Spain, for example, you could get a glass of wine in more regional parts for about €2. I'm not a...
Oh yeah, yeah, those prices are the same. I mean, Spain and Portugal are actually quite similar in a lot of ways.
A big drinker myself, but I have noticed that the cost of alcohol there is a lot cheaper. I even remember in Vegas, the cost of cocktails was really expensive, I thought, which was like $18 to $20 for one cocktail, but that's Vegas, so, you know.
My friends, I don't drink a lot. I really don't like the taste of alcohol, my friends. But when I'm with friends, I try to get a beer or something, and it's not that I find that disgusting. It's just not my thing. To be honest, I prefer sodas and stuff like that. Things that are also not that healthy. To be honest. But not that long time ago, you could get a beer for €1, a bit more or less $1, maybe a bit more than $1. But yeah, nowadays maybe around $1.50. But comparing with America, I feel like you guys find this crazy cheap.
It's Vegas.
Ah, damn it, Vegas!
Next up, when we are talking about your popular chain coffee places. So your Starbucks.
We don't have any. What?
I can't remember the name of another coffee place right now.
Okay, I know actually one. Okay, Starbucks is the most famous. Dunkin' and Donuts. Am I saying something stupid, my friend? I guess they sell donuts, but I also believe they are famous for the coffee, right?
Let's just go with Starbucks.
Yeah,
a
okay.
Starbucks Grande Latte in the USA will cost you approximately $3.65 to $4.15, depending on...
Okay, sorry for so many pauses, but in this one, she's completely correct. In Lisbon, for example, there is Starbucks, and I feel like is really expensive, and I assume in America you guys don't pay that much. But again, is that we are importing something and people, oh, this is fancy, you know?
on the tax taxes and charges in the state that you're in. In Europe, the VAT and operating costs are much higher for a place like Starbucks. So a grande latte will typically set you back $3.80 to $4.90. That's a good chunk if you're having that every day, which I don't recommend.
True.
And remember, that's an average. We're talking even higher than that in capital cities. Needless to say, you are better off going to a local cafe if you're visiting Europe. And honestly, probably the coffee will be better quality. The next one...
My friend's coffee, I drink espresso and I pay less than $1. Sometimes $1 at best. And yeah, I like it that way. But... another thing is Starbucks or places similar to that is not available that easy. But the espresso, that's everywhere.
Is a huge one, and probably the thing that I notice the most when I'm visiting the USA. The cost of clothes there is way cheaper typically. And there are several reasons for this, but perhaps the most interesting one was that a lot of brands found that when selling in Europe, if they tried to sell the clothes for cheaper, they just weren't selling. Whereas when they put a higher price tag on it, for example, the brand Levi's, they tried selling jeans in Europe for the same price as they were selling them in the USA. They found that people just weren't buying them until they put a higher price tag on them. So now you buy a pair of Levi jeans for $90 here, whereas
Wait, what? That's a great... Wait, what? That was crazy. Oh my God, we are them.
In the USA, they found that people just weren't buying them until they put a higher price.
I'm sorry, sir. Actually, I'm sorry for running this so... But I really want to understand it. Did I understand this correct?
The brand Levi's, they tried selling jeans in Europe for the same price as they were selling them in the USA. They found that people just weren't buying them until they put a higher price tag on them. So now you buy a pair of Levi jeans for $90 here, whereas in the USA, you can get them much cheaper. I definitely find this with a lot of the popular stores. I'm usually shocked at how cheap you can get like a t-shirt or a jacket for there. But yeah,
that's amazing. I actually bought this t-shirt in Amazon for less than 20 bucks, you know. And again, I don't judge because I know there will be people that are different watching me, but I really don't like to spend a lot of money in clothes, big brands. I just don't see the value there, you know what I mean? This one, such an amazing t-shirt, you know.
Cost of clothes is much cheaper because the snobby European element...
And even in the supermarkets, if I see something I like, I buy it, you know. They are white brands, but I don't care that much.
Apparently wanted the Emperor's New Clothes it and be like, we're paying more, so they're better quality. But they're not necessarily. The next thing that always blows my mind in particular is the cost of tech. Now, we touched on this with Apple specifically, but actually it goes much further beyond Apple. Microphones, lenses, headphones, they are all way cheaper to buy in the USA. And part of this could be down to the fact that their home bases are actually in the USA. However, we all know that a lot of products aren't necessarily made in the USA. A lot be made in...
Oh, yeah, but come on, but the company is from America, so of course they have some benefits that we don't. Look, my friends, I'm very critical of Europe, and a lot of you guys may not realize that. I really think Americans are doing a lot of things that we should copy. And some Europeans, they are so stupid, to be honest with you, my friend. Sorry for being negative, but they don't see that way. Oh, but we have this, we have that. I mean, come on, look at America is #1 in the world. I think we all could learn something from you guys. And look at all the without America, we are living in the dark times. You know, take a look. Apple, Microsoft, now with AI, ChatGPT, all of that stuff. Those companies are all Americans, my friend. Europe is not producing anything. I mean, I'm from Europe, so I was producing here, if that makes sense. But, okay.
In China, and we're still paying a lot more for them in Europe. But it's still super annoying when you just want to buy a microphone and it's way cheaper in the USA. It annoys me mostly when I go on a website like Amazon.
Actually, sorry, I have to continue this rant. I will go back. Because when you present this argument to a lot of people, oh, but we have free healthcare. which is, you guys know, we have free healthcare, of course, but there is also taxes associated with that. Let's not go into that topic. And I understand that a lot of you guys would love to have free healthcare in America, but the thing that pisses me off sometimes is not that people say, oh, we have free healthcare. Sometimes they believe you guys don't have doctors or something. I was like, yeah, people in America is dying. They are dying because they don't. I mean, most families that work, they have insurance, from what I understand, and you guys have great healthcare system. So I'm sorry, but yeah, that I don't know. Maybe because at this point I feel some. I react to so much American stuff that I have to defend you guys. I'm being honest. It pisses me off.
Still paying a lot more for them in Europe. But it's still super annoying when you just want to buy a microphone and it's way cheaper in the USA. It annoys me mostly when I go on a website like Amazon and you're getting a product for maybe $50 cheaper there than when I go onto the European version of the site. And I'm like, they're probably all coming from the same warehouse. And penultimately, I know y'all love that word as much as I do. Oh, speaking of words, thank you so much to my Patreon and YouTube channel member community for making this video possible. If you want more behind the scenes videos of me and Chewy, or you want to check out the new merch store, we finally have it linked under the videos right now. You should see pictures there. And you want to support the channel? You can do so and wear a cool hoodie or a cup or a blanket. Anyway, this next one does not affect me at all, but I know it's a big thing for other people. It's cigarettes. So I'm a non-smoker.
Ooh, I don't smoke, by the way, but I have a lot of friends that smoke, and they pay stupid amounts of money for cigarettes. It's crazy, and I believe the price is like 80% or 90% taxes. It's really crazy. No joke. This is really crazy.
But under investigation.
But then people say, oh, but you don't need to do it. So yeah, that is that.
I find the cost of cigarettes has a huge disparity between states as well as countries in Europe, as in state to state and country to country. However, the average cost in the USA is significantly cheaper than it is in most of Europe. The average cost of a packet of cigarettes in the USA is typically $6 to $8. You will pay more in a city. Apparently, Missouri has the cheapest cigarettes at $5 a pack.
Missouri? I love Missouri, my friends.
I think when I was researching this, I went by a 20 pack, but if you're a smoker, maybe you could...
But I don't smoke. That comment was more about this, I like Missouri, not the fact that they sell shit. Okay, sorry.
Correct me in the comments. However, in the UK and Ireland, the average pack of cigarettes will set you back about $12. And the same is true thereabouts for countries like France and Sweden, where a pack will cost you about $10. The reason for this...
12? Oh, I actually don't ask me, because I don't know how much it is right now in Portugal, but I know it's expensive.
Is down to a lot of public health policies in countries. Just like with alcohol, they put a huge fee on goods like cigarettes, alcohol. So at a minimum, you're already paying €3 to €4 before you've ever bought the cigarettes. Does it work?
No, it's quite more than that.
I don't know. All I know is vaping has come back into fashion, and that skipped a whole generation. But now it's back, and the young'uns are vaping. And finally, the number one thing is something I can absolutely speak on. It's ice cream. I am shocked at how cheap ice cream is in the USA. Now, I'm not talking gelato or anything fancy schmancy like that you'd find in Italy or even like...
Ice cream, the translation in Portuguese is gelado. So it's kind of funny.
Nice gelato place in Spain. I'm talking generic brands. Magnum, Haagen-Dazs, Ben & Jerry's. Way cheaper in the USA. And
really?
This upsets me greatly. I love ice cream.
Oh, me too.
Not a week will go by where I don't have at least one ice cream. And I don't care if it's cold, Sheila. I want ice cream. It really doesn't bother me if it's cold. The ice cream should be cold. My body temperature, I can put on a jumper. This is me comparing the cost of Haagen-Dazs in a supermarket in the USA versus in Europe. So here I am in a supermarket in the USA, and a tub of Haagen-Dazs.
Oh, this brand is really expensive here. I had it a couple of times, but it's really expensive.
Approximately $6.29. Whereas in Europe, it is €7.35, which is closer to $8. I actually have a whole video.
So let's go back to that. Sorry, my friends.
Tub of Haagen-Dazs is approximately...
Look at the amount of flavors.
approximately $6.29, whereas in Europe it is €7.35, which is closer to
It's a big difference.
I actually have a whole video on the cost of stuff in supermarkets. If you want me to do a comparison for you, let me know below in comments. Otherwise, that's it for today. See you guys on the other side. Bye.
Well, friends, actually I have a question that related more or less with this feed that I was thinking about doing. And this is for the ones that are, till the end with me, my friends, and I'm not a crazy Portuguese guy speaking English looking to a video. So, let's refocus. I was thinking about going to a supermarket here in my city and do a vlog there showing the prices of the stuff we have, but I don't know if that content is something that you guys would enjoy. To have an idea about the prices, because, I sometimes even got emails at people that think about coming to Portugal, because it's a beautiful place to have some, to spend some time, and maybe that can actually be something that you guys would enjoy. Leave me the number, we are at the end of the video. Leave me the number 20 if this is content that you would like to see. If so, I can do it, Very small vlog probably, but basically me going to the supermarket and showing you more or less what we have here and the prices, of course. So yeah, leave me the number 20 in the comment section if you want that. That's it, my friends. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Really means a lot that you guys end up staying until the end. See you in the next one.